Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
We have been talking about Dallas Cowboy wide receiver Michael Gallup throughout training camp. Physically, he is over his injuries from back in 2021. And now he says he's 100% mentally, which is bad for other teams. He tore his ACL late in the 2021 season, made it back last season, and then played 14 games, but says he wasn't mentally all the way there. Now he is completely back, and he is excited to see how DBs will try to cover him, along with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, the boys' top three receivers.
That's going to be tough for them. I'm ready to see what they're going to do. That's going to be tough, though. You put two folks over Cooks or CD, somebody getting open, somebody getting the ball. Then you got TP coming out the back. Oh, my gosh. It's ridiculous.
Let's hope so. Cowboys quarterback Trayvon Diggs is back in team drills. He picked off Dak Prescott. Diggs, who's dealing with a bruised toe, says he feels good and that he is almost 100%. Looks pretty good there. The feel-good story coming out of Houston, Texas training camp is wide receiver John Mechie III. He missed all of his rookie season after he was diagnosed with leukemia. He wasn't sure if he'd ever play again, but he's back in camp and feeling good. He was asked about the moment he was medically cleared to play.
Just gratitude. I think that's pretty much what the whole moment was like, just gratitude. I was really grateful that day that I was just able to come out here and start playing the game I love again, worry-free. Just able to play ball, not have to worry about much, but just playing ball. So I was really grateful that day.
Mechie added that he feels 100%. Hey, coming up, experts think this year parents will spend more on back-to-school shopping. 5 things to keep in mind if you're looking to save a few bucks. And the summer heat has a lot of people reaching for a bottle of water, but too much of a good thing can be bad for you. Warning from one family about drinking too much water in a very short time span.
This heat wave still cooking 65 million Americans coast to coast. In the Houston area, an example of just how dangerous the summer heat can be. A couple and their dog found dead. They were found inside a mobile home just days after their AC unit had failed. The intense heat inside that metal structure creating an incubator for extreme heat. The couple's daughter says she thinks her parents just were not aware that the effects of the heat could be deadly on them.
I don't think they had the knowledge of what the difference is between just being really hot or heat exhaustion and having a heat stroke.
And the heat not just impacting people, it's putting crops and livestock at risk. Ranchers turning to cryotherapy and large fans to cool off their animals.
A family sharing their story to warn people about water toxicity. ABC's Ariel Reschiff tells us their warning comes after a woman died from drinking too much water too fast.
The family of 35-year-old mother of 2, Ashley Summers, speaking out to warn others after she passed away over the 4th of July weekend from what doctors told them was water intoxication.
At one point during the day, she started getting a bad headache. So she was drinking a lot of water.
Ashley's brother saying she was spending the holiday at the lake with her family when she started to feel intensely dehydrated. So she drank the equivalent of 4 16-ounce bottles of water in just 20 minutes. That's the amount doctors say an average adult woman should consume in an entire day.
She felt dizzy and had this headache. They got home. She walked across the garage to go into the house and she passed out in the garage.
Water intoxication is a rare but dangerous condition caused by drinking too much water too fast, which upsets the electrolyte balance in the body. It can present with confusion, disorientation, nausea, and vomiting. Doctors say early detection is key.
The general recommendation is, 2 liters of water per day on average per person. And that's throughout the day. But you also don't want to consume more than 1 liter per hour.
Ashley's family now trying to turn her sudden and tragic loss into a life-saving lesson.
If she would have spaced out her water consumption, she probably would be alive today.
So hydrate, but don't hydrate too much too fast.
That's the key. Make sure you drink something that's got something other than it just water too. You got to have some electrolytes back in your body as well. So especially in this mess.
Our other meteorologist, Adam Caskey, is a firm believer in pickle juice.
That too. It does work. And man, do whatever you need to do to get through this heat, because it is very intense right now. And it's covering a large amount of real estate, okay? So it's not just Texas, it's a large portion of the country. We got to be really, really careful. And it's all due to our ridge-fied pressure, which is just does not want to move. It is stuck. It's moving around a little bit, but not far enough away to where it will give us some relief here. So everything's working up and around our ridge. There are some showers and storms out there, but you got to go up to Oklahoma and over to parts of Mississippi before you find any rain. And underneath this high, this is where we have all of our excessive heat warnings and heat advisories from Texas up to Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and out over the desert Southwest as well. Our forecast today, 100 at 2 o'clock, 102 at 3 p.m. We're up around 104, mostly sunny, down to 102 by 7 o'clock. Maybe we drop below 100 by 8 p.m. Really, if you're going to do the evening walk, it's almost to the point where you have to wait till about 8:15. I know it's getting dark at that point, but there is just very little relief. And going forward, we're going to see some even hotter temperatures. We'll look at that, plus the tropics. It's that time of year where things should start heating up. What's the latest there? We'll fill you in here in just a couple minutes.
Thank you so much, Justin. The Biden administration can continue to stop migrants who pass through another country from seeking asylum in the United States. That controversial asylum policy blocked last week by a district judge. However, yesterday, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled to allow the administration to continue carrying out that policy. The appeals court said it would expedite its consideration of the case. Democrats and immigration advocates have criticized both the Trump-era policy and the similar Biden administration policy that took its place.
Now to the alibi from the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students last year. Brian Kohberger says he went for a late-night drive alone on the night of the murders. ABC's Mola Lenge with how his legal team is handling the unusual alibi.
Brian Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students, offering an alibi, claiming he was in his car when the murders happened. Kohberger's attorney saying in a new court filing, Mr. Kohberger has long had a habit of going for drives alone. Often he would go for drives at night. However, he is not claiming to be at a specific location at a specific time, and that there is not a specific witness to say precisely where he was.
When a defendant puts forth an alibi, it is something or someone that can identify them in some place other than the scene of the crime. In this particular case, his alibi, he was driving alone, does not give a precise thing or person that can place him somewhere else. So that's the question the judge must determine, is whether or not that can actually be used as an alibi.
Last week, the court required Kohberger to state where he was on the night Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Zainer Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were murdered. The defense says they will use witness testimony during trial to show his whereabouts.
The defense is attempting to say that they can prove that this alibi of him driving alone can be substantiated by cross-examining witnesses that will be put on at trial. This is contradictory to the fact that typically an alibi is a particular place, an item, or someone that can identify you at a current place or time.
In June, the defense asked prosecutors to turn over cell phone data, which allegedly showed Kohberger at the crime scene. They also want to know about evidence placing Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra near the crime scene, along with relevant genetic testing. They say 3 other male DNA profiles were found at the scene. But the state says Kohberger's DNA, taken from a cheek swab, is a statistical match to DNA found on the knife sheath discovered underneath Madison Mogen. Kohberger charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary, remaining silent in court, a judge pleading not guilty on his behalf.
Kohberger's next hearing is scheduled for August 18th. The trial is scheduled to begin October 2nd. Prosecutors say they plan to seek the death penalty. Mola Lenge, ABC News, Denver.
Students and parents starting their back to school shopping, and it can be easy to rack up a lot of charges. How to save some cash while you prepare for the upcoming school year. Some experts are predicting an increase in back-to-school spending this year. That's along with a slight slowdown in inflation. CNN's Amanda Sanson has a look at how much more parents are spending and how you might be able to save some money.
New school year, new expenses. Parents are shelling out more cash in 2023 to send their kids back to class. According to a new Retail Me Not survey, the average American household will spend $1,498 on back-to-school supplies, electronics, and clothes. That's $251 more than last year's spending average. Just like with everything else that costs more, experts say parents can blame inflation.
It adds up so fast. It's kind of like Christmas. We're buying 100 different things from 100 different vendors, and it's so easy to lose track.
So, what can you do to save money and avoid a back-to-school spending hangover? Jessica Allen from the website Living Well, Spending Less has 5 tips. 1, take inventory of what you already have, and then decide what you really need right now, and put the rest on a wish list. 2, set a budget, and then involve your kids with the shopping.
The easiest way to do this is to give them the cash. This is a life skill. The budgeting is a life skill, and actually paying for items at the counter and interacting with the service staff.
3, buy in bulk and split the cost with other parents, neighbors, or friends. 4, stretch those electronics a bit longer instead of splurging on new ones.
Look into items that you can swap or pass down. Is there a graduated senior who no longer needs that graphing calculator?
And finally, wait for the shopping rush to pass.
Wait until your children get into their classes and see what the teacher is actually asking for.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
And of course, the first day of school getting closer and closer. There are things you can do right now to help get your family ready for that back-to-school routine. Experts with Teach for San Antonio recommend you start reestablishing your school routine the week before school starts. This includes getting your kids' bedtime schedule back to normal. Good luck with that. Waking them up at the time they would be getting up for school.
Good luck with that.
And having a fixed meal time.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It will also help acclimate the students into the routine that they need to be successful coming into the first day of school.
Yeah, going back to school can be hard for students. Having them on a specific routine will make the transition back to school easier for them and hopefully for the parents.
As that country song goes, Mama tried. District 2 is hosting a back-to-school event and resource fair today. It starts this afternoon from 4:30 to 7 at the Pre-K for SA East Education Center on Eisenhower Road. The second event will be tomorrow at the Museum from 6 to 8:30. Free backpacks, school supplies, haircuts, and vaccinations will be provided. And City Council District 10 hosting their annual back-to-school backpack and supplies giveaway. The event is tomorrow from 9 to noon at Blessed Angels Community Center on Nacogdoches Road. There's going to be free backpacks, school supplies, diapers, and food while supplies last.
And Last Chance Ministries is holding its back-to-school bash, and they're seeing a lot of demand, so they need more donations. A record-setting number of families have registered. They are anticipating 3,500 students, and registration doesn't close until Monday. If you would like to help, you can see some of the items they need on your screen right there. We have all the information about how to donate and register on KSAT12.
You know, David and I have grown children, so we're looking back with great experience on this era, this part of the back-to-school season. You're right in the midst of it.
I'm looking at it with a lack of sleep. So
$1,400, the average amount parents are spending.
It's crazy. It really is. And back to school is upon us. I can't believe that either.
Have you got your daughter going back to her school routine yet?
No, of course not.
See?
Not even close.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. 93 so far today. 97 is the average. We'll be above average. The record is 103. Guess what? We may very well get there. We're forecasting 104. That was set all the way back in 1962. We look forward to when school's starting here next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know what the forecast looks like coming up.
Justin giving us the rundown.
Yeah, what it's like today, huh?
Ooh,
I would dread having to go back to school shopping in 104-degree weather.
That would be rough.
How early does Target open? I mean, you know, like
Early in the morning and the evenings. And I was thinking about, too, football. Growing up in Texas, I love high school football. I always remember the first game was like so brutally hot. And then by the end of the season, you got a jacket and
it's cold. Yeah.
So that's what we have to look forward to. I was just looking up here, though, on ERCOT. ERCOT tweeted this out just about 40 minutes ago. They've issued a weather watch for August 6th and 7th, so Sunday and Monday, due to forecasted higher temperatures and higher electrical demand and the potential for lower reserves. So that's something we're going to have to watch closely here. As we've been mentioning, the Texas grid, with all these temperatures, it's going to be a little bit rough. So keep an eye on that. We'll certainly keep you posted as well. Let's go out to the tropics. It is tropical season. We would expect things to start to pick up here, especially with the warm waters. So far, we've had a few moments here in the Atlantic where it got busy, but then it's slowed down again, and that's kind of where we are right now. There's not a lot out there. We've got a couple of waves that are making their way across the Atlantic, but nothing to show that there's any signs of development here. I do think as we get later into August, though, you will start to see things kind of lining up here across the Atlantic, and then the big question will be, do they make it into the Caribbean? Do they make it into the Gulf? Does it turn towards the east coast of the United States? These are all the questions we have. We don't know yet. We don't know yet until something develops. But we do expect things will indeed pick up as we go forward. And we showed you this earlier. This is the graph showing the average high temperatures. We're reaching the peaks. But what I wanted to show you is the tropical forecast and where we are for hurricane season. And we tend to reach the peak during August, and that's when we would expect things to pick up even more. We'll get it pulled up for you here eventually. There we go. Oh man, I'm still missing it. Here we go. One more time. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So we reach the peak there as we move up through August. September 10th is when we expect things to be at their busiest in the Atlantic. So we're getting there. And again, expect more as we move later into the month. I want to show you water temperatures really quick. It's been a busy, I should say it's been very warm in the Gulf of Mexico. And you see the numbers here. We're in the 90s along the coast still. So if you're heading down to the coast this weekend, know that the water temperatures are going to be very, very warm. Low 90s for the most part there around Port A and Rockport. And as we zoom out some, it's been warm all across the Atlantic. So if anything does develop, it'll have plenty of energy to work with. A lot of activity as far as rain and storms go across parts of the east and east coast. Severe weather up across New York today. That's where all the action will be. Not here, of course, because we have our Ridge 5 pressure in place. And we've just got blue skies. 92, dew point 69, heat index 97. And dew points are in the 60s and 70s right now. But these numbers are on their way down. Heat indices still in the triple digits. Bulverde, Canyon Lake, New Braunfels. 98 is what it feels like at Stinson right now. Heat indices will be above 100 here very soon in most locations. And our high temperatures today will be right around 104 in most spots. 106 Pearsall, 107 in Creosote Springs. Very quickly, I wanted to fit this in there. Lake levels, Amistad down to 36%. Canyon Lake's down to 71%. We are nearing a record low there. It's down 15 feet. Medina's at 5%, Choke Canyon at 29%. So still not a great situation when it comes to our rivers and lakes. There's a look at the 7-day forecast. It's hot across the board. We'll be right back.
A zoo in China continues to insist that its bears are not people in costumes. However, people still are not convinced about this.
A real bear. ABC's Trevor Ault reports that skepticism now driving up business at the zoo.
A small bear drumming up big business and an even bigger debate, drawing the world's attention to China's Hangzhou Zoo. Meet Angela the bear, whose decidedly human movements have people asking, is this bear actually just a person in a bear suit? Here she is standing up and waving. Video from behind reveals what look an awful lot like wrinkles on a costume.
With all due respect, this bear does look very human-like the way it stands up.
Angela's questionable authenticity has visitors determined to see her for themselves. She's reportedly driving a 30% increase in attendance at the zoo. And believe it or not, experts say Angela is actually a bear, specifically a Malayan sun bear.
Some of the behaviors I see in this bear, the arm up in the air and things like that, these are all things indicative of captive bears that have been conditioned to do things in response to a reward of food. I know there was a lot of commenting made about the wrinkles in the skin when it stands straight up in the back that kind of gives the impression that it's like a large suit that somebody may be wearing. The sun bear has fairly loose skin to begin with because that loose skin enables it to get away a little easier.
These bears are the world's smallest. They're about the size of a large dog, standing up to 50 inches tall on their hind legs. You can compare that to grizzlies, which get up to 9 feet tall. And this morning, zoos across the UK are coming to Angela's defense, posting photos and videos of their own sun bears acting like people. For their part, the Hangzhou Zoo has released a statement, apparently from Angela's perspective, writing, quote, "Let me reiterate again to everyone that I am a sun bear, not a black bear, not a dog, a sun bear."
I can tell you unequivocally that is a real sun bear standing up in China.
So they don't want the bear, people think the bear is human, but they have the bear send out a message.
Oh, you're right. That's a contradiction, isn't it?
A little bit. It's a Barbie party at SA Live, though.
The Barbie movie is still topping the box office. Have you seen it yet?
No.
So they've gone pink to celebrate all over again. Hey, Mike. Ken.
We have got our Barbie set here, and we're going to be talking to our own Barbie out in the field at a party in her honor. It is also a very magical Friday here, and we have magicians Paul and Frank. So you got a little trick for us on this Barbie Friday, huh?
Frank, I'll show you a trick. Show everybody the wallet.
Empty wallet?
I also have a little rabbit. If I snap my fingers, he disappears. Ooh, I wonder where he went.
Wow.